Hello and welcome to this member spotlight with me, Kate Cherry, Athena Regional Director of Bedfordshire and St Albans networking meetings, and Ali Moore of Be More Therapy. Although, Ali, do you have a new business name yet, or are you keeping it with that?
So it's going to be More, but we're going to make a lot more use of the hashtag, the reconnections and reconnect your life. And I know we're going to talk about that in a minute. So
brilliant. Yeah. So you are really being more right now.
Yes, I am actually. Yeah, in
the
walking times.
You're walking the talk, totally. So why are we here today? I love to interview our members to get that message about what they do out to the wider community. Then there'll be someone there who's maybe not in our meetings or not a connection of one of our members who really needs that support. And it's really invaluable to hear about what someone like Ali does. And so Ali and I did one of these a little while back. To find out a bit more about what Ali does. Ali is a member of our Woburn Salford Athena networking group, and there she is a therapist and coach, psychotherapist by profession. However, Ali has a couple of other strings to her beautiful bow, and she's having a bit of a rejig and a rebrand at the moment, aren't you? So we wanted to come back and share a bit more about that, because it's always, I think, when you find out what someone does maybe 4 years ago, now everyone's changed. So me as listener, you as business owner. So I think it's worth sharing that lovely good news. So tell us a bit more. What does your business do, and how, or businesses as they were, do, and how do you help people?
So I have at the moment two very separate strands. So I have what I call my day job, that most people within Athena know me as, which is as a therapist and a coach. And in that, I do a mixture of psychotherapy, traditional talking therapy, and what we call psychospiritual. So I look at you as a whole, and I help people to live fulfilled. So rather than just looking at a symptom, which could be stress, it could be anxiety, it could be panic attacks, it could be trauma, we look at what's going on for you as a whole person, and we put together something that's going to help you heal, and it's going to enable you to feel good about being you. That's what I'm most passionate about, working with women and helping women feel good about being them. And I've got different strands to that. You can be a member, you can come to a workshop, you can come and have one-to-one sessions, etc. And alongside that, a few years ago, I qualified as a celebrant, which is, as we say, hatches, matches and dispatches. So, that's obviously during these COVID times, that's one of the businesses that's been severely impacted, because people have not been able to come together and do those celebrations in the way that they had. And it's interesting because it got me really thinking about, what am I doing? I'd always had this dream that somehow the two overlap. So for example, I work with people who've gone through grief. And I feel therefore quite well placed to support families when I do funerals. I work with people who are going through relationship issues, and relationships is going to be a big part of the work I do. And I would see couples prior to their commitment or their wedding and talk to them about their relationship. So in my head, which is not always the most linear of places, I was like, oh, this feels like it's all about people, it's all about relationships. And it was actually having to go online. I moved back into my lovely office, and I did have my banners behind me, and I kept seeing these two banners, and I kept thinking, I feel like there should just be one. I feel like there should just be one banner behind me that brings everything together. And so that's what I've decided to do. So the rebrand project, which I've just kicked off, is to bring everything under the Be More banner, under the umbrella. It's all about reconnecting you. It's all about relationships, and there'll be two sides to it. There'll be the reconnection of your life, which is your therapy work, your membership, kind of working on yourself. And then there's reconnecting your world, which is the ceremonies and the package that I'm building, which is called Life Transitions, which is even going to include things like helping you through divorce and doing something to honour the end of that relationship. So I'm not quite there yet with all the details, but and it feels like one of the bizarrest times to invest and do a big investment in the business, because it's going to be a brand new web page and brand new logo. It's all very exciting, but it also feels like the right time to do it, strangely enough.
I love that message, and I love what the two banners, the visual of having the two banners behind you. And I know the two banners because we've done other interviews together, haven't we? And you've had two banners, and just having that time to take the opportunity to go, actually, this should be connected. I love that.
Yes.
Was it like a little light bulb one day, like me when I'm out cycling and think of things, or in the shower, or was it sort of, it grew gradually?
As I say, it kind of, as soon as I sort of started to do my celebrant training, for me, it just felt all about people and people's stories. When they're in the therapy room, what you do is you hear their story and you help them navigate that, and you help them not change their story, but you help them own their story and tell their story in a way that's powerful for them. And that's kind of what you do in the world of being a celebrant. You hear stories, you share stories, and you help people to tell that story. But yeah, I dabbled with this idea before, and although it made sense to me, I couldn't explain it well enough that anyone else saw it. So I just let it lie for a bit. And then it was kind of through the fact that we went online and everything went online, and I was having these conversations with my couples and my families, and they were having to postpone, and the impact that was having. So imagine if you've made that commitment to get married, it's not, and actually you can't do that. This is not just about the day, this is about the emotional reaction. There's a feeling of loss. It's stopping some people stepping into that next stage of their life, and so there was lots of discussions going on, and it just made me feel even more certain that what I do is all about relationships. That's the key thing. It's about reconnecting people, and it's about relationships. And then suddenly, I just kind of got this vision of, you could have two businesses together with kind of two sides, and I don't know if anyone's ever done that, but you suddenly kind of get a vision of what that front of the web page is going to look like. You're like, oh, that's what it will be. So that's how it sort of came about.
Fantastic. So it wasn't necessarily either, we talk about in these interviews, we usually sort of go, well, how did you start doing what you do now? But in this wasn't necessarily a plan. It came about because of the current situation and changes to your client frequency, basically COVID, right? And that's how this came about. It came to a head now, isn't it?
It is. And I think another thing that really helped me was, again, I sort of dabbled with, as you know, with this kind of membership thing for a while, and I've been running these get-togethers for women, and looking at different ways of doing that. And because, of course, when we went online, I had to decide, do I carry on just as Athena and the other networks? What do we do? I thought, okay, let's just put it online. Let's see what happens. And that's when the membership really took off. That's when I started to get kind of a flurry of people who wanted to join, because people want community. I mean, we talked before we went sort of recording about finding your tribe, and it felt like being online made it accessible to people, and it was an opportunity to get together and support each other. And so that kind of got me thinking, what's at the heart of what my rebrand and my webpage is going to be about? And this is going to be a portal for my members. That's kind of going to be at the heart of what I do, is this place for members to come together and see who's in there and access material and do it all in one place, and really kind of build that online membership. And the fact that we've now been told, life is nowhere near going back to normal for at least 6 months. And I think this is something we're going to be navigating for a long time to come. I just think, let's make the community at the heart of what the rebrand is about. And so that, lots of little things during these crazy times have kind of helped me actually to suddenly have that light bulb moment.
That's amazing. So you're going to be sharing with our group this month when you come to our so your category is not changed, you're still therapist and coach, but we're going to talk about this change. What do you enjoy about Or how does being in a membership networking group like Athena support you in your business?
I think that, as you know, I'm a mad networker. I'm networking in Athena and various others. And for me, when I look at what's been the biggest thing in helping me take my business forward, it has been my networking. So the majority of my contacts come from having made that face-to-face contact, and then having recommendations. And when I look at who's in my membership groups, or who sent me referrals, or who's given my name to somebody, some of them are random through social media, but I think we can get really tied up in social media about having to be visible and present, whereas actually what I'm seeing is that it's my networking, it's my community, it's that having that, I still call it face to face, we're still having one-to-ones, we're still having meetings. Those are the people that have now enabled me to build my business. And I don't think I would have been in a position to do what I'm doing. I'm coming up to nearly 6 years now of having, first sent your form off to register basically for tax. I want to set a business up, and you just get a letter going, oh great, now you're due to pay tax on stuff. That's nearly 6 years on, and yeah, that's what it has given me. It has given me a place to kind of it gives you structure throughout the month. You're going to see people, you're going to meet new people, what you're doing, and it gives you that opportunity to talk about your business. But I just think it gives you that community, and that is just such a big thing for me.
And I love that you haven't so 6 years, congratulations, on similar timelines, but you haven't stayed static. You've always been able to identify what's next, what's not working, what do I need to put together, what do I need to tweak. And I think that's really important, because if you're going to stay static and just do what you do, you may as well just have another job.
Yes, exactly.
It's identifying what people need, I guess, isn't it? And you were able to do that through this situation. So if we talk about what tips you'd have for other people looking to start a business or what to do next with their business, you weren't one to sort of go, oh God, just got to do what I'm doing now, because and just hope for the best. What advice would you have about people who are sort of holding back on something versus just do it now?
I think so. If we talk, I think it's important to talk about specifically the times we're in now, because this has been a terrible time really for small business owners, and especially small limited business owners. And it can feel, but there's never going to be a right time. It is one of those cliches. There is never going to be the best time to do something different or change. And so the thing is, you've got to believe in what you do. And I know that sounds cliche as well, but you have to believe in what you do. So if you really believe in what you do, then think about what that's going to look like when you've achieved that. Okay. Be clear on why you're doing it. Be clear on the impact that you want to have. And the thing that I've learned is, because I am a bit of a tweaker, as you say, I'm like, oh, I've got an idea. Let me do this. And what I've had to really learn to do is, as your business grows and expands and you're having contact with more people, keep your gunpowder dry. So sit and plan. So sit and plan, be clear on your why. And as long as you strongly believe that what you're going to do is going to have an impact and that there is a need for it, and you see that need, then just go for it, because there will never, ever be a right time. So people, might look at me and say, well, the celebrant business is just like getting knocked on its head left, right and centre, anything to do with events. So why would she want to invest there? And, you can't run any events and you can't run any workshops. So why would she want to invest there? But people still need stuff. People are still looking for stuff. People are still leading their lives, and your business can't stay static, and yeah, I was one of those people that I stayed in my corporate roles. I think I did 11 years in my first corporate role. I did 13, nearly 14 years in my next corporate role. I was a real safety net girl, But when you set out in your own business, it's all about taking risk, isn't it? You've got to weigh the risk up, and otherwise you may as well just go back. So you're free to do what you want. I don't know if this is giving people tips or not, but I just feel like it's about how you feel inside. And as long as you're clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it, there'll be lots of people around you giving reasons why you shouldn't do it and why it's not going to work. And I've just kind of learned to listen to my gut instinct, to kind of go with it, try it. If it doesn't work, do something else. You know, I've done things. I've cancelled events because nobody's booked on them. You know, I've decided I'm going to launch something and it hasn't taken off. Just quietly take it off your web page, and then a little bit down the line you've got a great blog to write about, about how you learn from your mistakes. So
true. The number of times I have worried about what someone else will think about that little thing I didn't do that I said I would do, because that's one of my values, is doing what I say I'll do. But actually, who's watching, really?
Right. Who's keeping score? The reason, you know, one of the big reasons I left corporate life was I didn't want to be judged by anyone else's values anymore, of whether I was good enough at my job, you know, with the appraisal system and this, that, and the other. So I have to judge myself. I have to be brave, and I have to say if something's working or not working. But that's fine, because that's me. You know, there's no one else keeping score. Why would they? We're, you know, I hate to say it, but we're not that interesting to other people. Most people are just interested in what they're doing. So it's okay to make mistakes. And it's okay to decide that you're going to do something crazy, because if you really think it's going to work, then it will work. I'm telling you, it will work.
So inspirational, Ali. No wonder you've got such. I'm in one of your groups, and I can't recommend them highly enough. It's so nice to just be with other women, regardless of what they do, and talk about stuff. So like you say, we've talked about relationships, and the number one relationship we talk about is the one we have with ourselves, isn't it? Yeah. And we get so head down in work. Yeah. But I love how in what you do, you've brought together all the other stuff as well. Yeah. Which is great. So, call to action then. What would you love someone listening to this to either, or who would be a great contact for you, or what's the next step that you want some people to get on board with, or share, or like, or whatever?
Family lawyers, in terms of business contacts, always good contacts for someone who works in relationships. So always looking to make connections with family lawyers to see how I can support and chat with them. Would love, I know some of the ladies here are members. So if you are a member and you love it, then feel free to be brave and share and tell people why you love it, because I'd really love to expand the membership. And the more members we have, the more access to expertise that you get, you know, and the more new connections you're going to make through that membership. And my final one is I'm about 3 people away from 400 members in my free group, okay, on Facebook. So if you aren't part of my free Facebook group, and I'll pop the link when this goes live, I'll pop the link at the bottom. I might already be there by then, but I would just love to just kind of reach that next milestone. You know, we do a mindfulness session at 7 on a Monday morning. I regularly pop in there and do lives. You can post, it's going to become really interactive, and it's all going to be around relationships with self and relationships with others. So if that sounds like somewhere that you'd like to be, then jump in on the free group.
I love that. Ali, thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations on everything that's happening at the moment for you. I love, it's been a really, really, really difficult time, and continues to be for a lot of people, but I do think staying visible, keeping your thinking head on, as well as drinking lots of wine and eating lots of chocolate as well, is really important. And and I love that we're able to get that message out there for people, whether or not they end up contacting you. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching, if you've been able to tune into this. If you would like to know any more about Ali, I've tagged her business page and her, but she will also copy in the group. And then for me, you know, just ping somewhere where my name was, and you can ask me about some of our groups. We run Athena networking groups in Bedford, Woburn, Salford, where Ali is, Luton, and there are 2 groups in St Albans, and I'm launching a virtual Bedfordshire group this month. So do come and ask me about that. So thank you very much, and thanks Ali for your time.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.